Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to select enemies. Now this won't be the completed script yet, but it will be a basic starter for what you need to do to create enemy selection. So if you want to select a character and only have your player target that character, you can use this script. But hopefully in the next tutorial on this, we can actually get the player attacking the specific enemy that's selected. Because in this one, we can't really deselect or only have one selected at a time. So I'm going to be needing to be upgrading the script relatively soon here to try getting it working properly. But for now, it's just a basic layout for what we're going to be doing. So I created another script called select enemy, which I'm going to be using, and I threw everything into my update function. So pretty much we have a variable hit, so we're going to be using a Raycast in this one, and input get mouse button down, so if we right click, it'll call the Raycast. We're going to be using a physics Raycast, so this will cast on objects that have a collider, like a box collider, and it's pretty much going to be referencing from where you click on the screen. So it's grabbing your mouse position and sending hit, which is the Raycast, down into the scene. So pretty much we're going to check for hit. So yeah, that's a Raycast. So whatever the collider that we hit, we're going to check for the tag on that collider. Now all my enemies in my scene that I spawn, all of them have the tag for minion. So that's a starting reference point. So if we click on the object and it has a tag with minion, then we're going to do something with that. So what we're going to do is create a new variable just for n, and this is going to be for the object that we hit. We're just going to keep track of it. So hit collider game object. So whatever hit, whatever minion it hit, it will store that variable into n. So now we can access n. We'll do n.gameObject.tag equals minion selected. So normally my minion would be tagged with minion, but instead it's going to get tagged with minion selected. Now we're going to be able to reference which enemy we have selected and which one we should be firing at, because it has a separate tag than anything else in the scene. Now that's why I said this is a basic script, because there's no way to deselect this enemy or change it back. I tried doing a deselect, but it kind of messes up and gives a statement if you don't have a minion selected at the start of the game, and I'm going to have to figure all that out, but I will in the future and make another video on it. But yeah, so for now we're just going to take the object that we clicked on, we're going to change it to minion selected, which we'll be using for referencing off what we're going to fire at, which minion, because all the other ones will be labeled just minion, and there should be one that's just minion selected. Now, in a lot of games when you select an enemy, it puts something underneath the enemy to display that it's been selected, like it sets it apart from everything else. In this one, we're going to be using, we're going to be changing the shader on the object. Now, you're probably wondering why it's material 0 and materials 1, and I'll go explain that real quick. So in our minion, or my minion, I did separate textures for each part of my minion. So each part has like a different shader to it and a separate material. So if we reference, this would be 0, this would be 1, 2, and 3. And since these are already self-illuminated, I'm not going to be changing those. I'm just going to be changing these two because they're already set to diffuse. I'm going to be using a different effect in the future. I'm probably going to be using like a tune effect, most likely, like an outline, some kind of outline. But for now, I'm just showing you how to switch out shaders from your objects. So if you see in here, we'll take n, so the game object we click, render material 0.shader, so we're changing the shader, shader.find any, and you can use any shader that you have available in your list. So if you drop this down, unlit texture. So whatever one you want to reference off of, you can select whatever one you want to use for that. So I just did an unlit texture for 0 and 1. And so that's the basics for now. I will cover in the future how to do the rest of the stuff once I get it figured out, but for now this is just a basic script we can use for selecting enemies. Yeah, but the only downside is each one you click on will be highlighted and be a selected target. So future scripts wouldn't work too well with this one. So I'm going to try narrowing it down to being able to select just one enemy. So I'm going to go and click, and you can see the texture shading or texture shader changing as I'm clicking on the object. And it seems like, yeah, it doesn't go through. If it's been selected, it can't go through any other one, or so it seems. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of that. So hopefully in the future, this box that I'm shooting right now, for whichever one I have selected, I can, if I'm facing the enemy and I fire, I'm going to have it so the box follows a path to the enemy. And so that'll pretty much be the basics of that script. I'm still trying to figure out how to make the tower attack enemies. Now I can do that a little bit better now that I know that I can change the tag of an object so it can directly fire at a tag object, because I know how to loop through an array of every enemy in here and choose one and fire at it, but maybe I just want the tower to select one enemy and fire at it constantly. So I'm going to try getting a lot more stuff done on this. Hopefully I can figure out a little bit more about selection attacking in the future, but for now this gives you a basic idea for what you guys need to do to implement something like that, or the logic behind it.